A woman walks into a thrift store and finds something impossible. Her daughter's coat? The same daughter who vanished without a trace 10 years ago. But here's what makes your blood run cold. Hidden inside that coat is a message that changes everything. This story will make you question how well you really know the people around you. In 2013, a woman was browsing through racks at a secondhand shop in Dayton, Ohio, when something made her freeze. A navy blue coat with silver buttons. A particular style, a tear on the left sleeve, that someone had sewn back together with care. She recognized this coat immediately because she had made it herself for her daughter a decade earlier. She had even added something special, a hidden pocket inside the lining, something she'd done for every coat she ever made for Hannah since childhood. A secret spot to keep important things safe. The woman grabbed the coat with trembling hands, rushed to her car. Her fingers searched for the hidden pocket she knew had to be there. She found a folded piece of paper inside, opened it with shaking hands. Read words written in her daughter's handwriting. "If someone finds this, I'm in stone, please." The message stopped there. Like someone had interrupted her, like she'd run out of time to finish writing. The woman sat frozen in her car and dialed the police. She told them her daughter had been missing for 10 years. She told them she just found proof Hannah was alive, or at least had been alive when she wrote those words. This is the story of a young woman stolen from her normal morning routine, of a mother who spotted a coat after 10 years of searching, and of how a hidden message sewn into fabric finally revealed the truth. March 2013, Dayton, Ohio. Linda Brooks moved slowly through the aisles of the Second Chance Market on a Saturday morning. She had been coming to this place for 10 years straight, not because she needed used clothes, but because she was searching for anything that might have belonged to Hannah. Every jacket, every scarf, every pair of shoes, Linda examined them all, looked for something she might recognize, something that could tell her where her daughter had gone. The police had warned her it was useless, that if Hannah's things had ended up in a thrift store, they could be scattered anywhere across the country by now, that the odds of Linda actually finding something were almost zero. But Linda showed up anyway. Every single Saturday for 10 years, she was sorting through a rack of winter coats when her eyes locked onto it. Navy blue wool, silver buttons running down the front. A specific design that Linda knew instantly because she had created it herself. Linda's hands stopped on the hanger. She yanked the coat off the rack, checked the left sleeve, found the tear that Hannah had gotten when she caught it on a fence, found the neat repair Linda had done the night before Hannah vanished. This was Hannah's coat, the exact one she had been wearing the morning she disappeared in 2003. Linda's legs turned weak. She dropped onto a nearby bench, held the coat in her lap, ran the fabric through her fingers. If you have ever discovered something that belonged to someone you lost, you understand that feeling of time collapsing, of the past crashing into the present, of hope and heartbreak hitting you at the same moment. Linda remembered stitching this coat together, remembered Hannah modeling it for her, remembered adding the hidden pocket in the lining, something Linda had been doing since Hannah turned 8 years old. A secret spot to keep emergency cash or important notes, something only Hannah and Linda knew existed. Linda's hands moved to the lining, found the seam she had stitched years ago, felt for the opening. There was something tucked inside. She pulled out a folded piece of paper, yellow with age, creased from being folded tight. Linda unfolded it with shaking fingers. The handwriting was Hannah's, small, rushed, written in pen that had been pressed hard into the paper. "If someone finds this, I'm in stone, please." The message ended right there. No name signed, no other information, just those 8 words. Stone. Linda read it 3 times over, tried to make sense of it. Stone what? Stone Creek, Stoneville, Stone Mountain. She grabbed her phone, called the number she had dialed hundreds of times over the past 10 years. Detective James Walsh picked up on the second ring. He had worked Hannah's case from day one, had kept it open even when every lead went cold. Linda told him she had found Hannah's coat, told him there was a note inside. Read him the message, word for word. Walsh went silent for a moment, then told her to bring the coat to the station right away. Said not to touch the note anymore. Said they would need to test it. Linda bought the coat, $40, paid with cash, drove straight to the police station. April 2003, 10 years earlier, Columbus, Ohio. Hannah Brooks was 25 years old and had been working in the patient registration department at Columbus General Hospital for 2 years. The pay was reliable. The hours were consistent, and she enjoyed helping people figure out the complicated process of hospital admissions. Her shift started at 7 in the morning. To arrive on time, she left her apartment at 6 every morning, walked 3 blocks to the bus stop on West Broad Street, caught the 620 bus, got to the hospital by 6:50. It was a pattern she had followed for 2 years without missing a day. What Hannah did not know was that someone had been watching her every move. Michael Turner was 42 years old and lived in a small house on the edge of Stone Creek, a town 30 miles northeast of Columbus. He worked as a freelance accountant, kept to himself, had not dated since his fiancée died in a car accident 4 years earlier. Her name had been Sarah. She had blonde hair that shined in the light when she walked, a certain way of moving that Michael could spot from a block away. And one morning in January 2003, Michael had been driving through Columbus for a client meeting when he spotted a young woman walking toward a bus stop. Blonde hair, same body type as Sarah, same walking style. Michael's heart had stopped beating. He had pulled over, watched her board the bus, watched the bus pull away. He told himself it was just coincidence. That grief was making him see things that were not real. But the next week, he drove through Columbus again. Same time, same street. Saw the same woman walking to the same bus stop. He started coming every week, then twice a week, then every single morning. For 3 months straight, Michael watched Hannah Brooks walk to the bus stop at 6:15 every morning, watched her stand there waiting, watched her climb onto the bus at 6:20. He memorized her routine, studied her route, noticed that she was always alone, that nobody walked with her, that nobody waited with her at the bus stop. And slowly, during those 3 months, something changed inside Michael's mind. He started believing this was not just coincidence, that fate had brought Hannah into his life, that Sarah had been taken from him, but now she was coming back in a different form, in a different life. But the same person, deep down. By the 4th month, Michael had convinced himself of something completely false, something that would never be true, that if he could just bring her home, everything would go back to normal. April 15th, 2003, the morning Hannah vanished. Hannah walked out of her apartment at 6 in the morning, like always, wore her navy blue coat because the April morning felt cold, walked the 3 blocks to her usual bus stop. The street was completely empty. Nobody else was there waiting. The bus was not coming for another 5 minutes. A car stopped at the curb. A man lowered his window, asked if she was waiting for the West Broad bus, said he had seen her standing here before. Said the bus drivers were on a temporary route change this week because of construction. Said they were now picking people up 2 blocks over. Hannah looked confused. She had not heard anything about construction, but she had been off work for 2 days. Maybe she had missed some kind of announcement. The man looked normal enough, middle-aged, well-dressed, spoke in a calm voice. He told her he could drive her to the new stop if she needed, said he was going that direction anyway. Hannah paused. Her mother's voice rang in her head. Never get in a car with strangers. She pulled out her phone, tried to search for bus route changes, but her phone signal was terrible in this spot. The page would not load, and she had already been late twice this month. Once because she slept through her alarm, once because the bus had broken down. Her supervisor had talked to her last week, said one more late arrival would mean a formal warning. Said the hospital could not have registration staff arriving whenever they felt like it. Hannah looked at the man one more time. He was middle-aged, wearing business clothes, speaking calmly. Seemed like someone who worked downtown, someone normal, and it was only 2 blocks away. The man said the new stop was just 2 blocks over. That was barely anything, a 2-minute drive, not even long enough for something bad to happen. She made a choice she would regret for the next 10 years. Hannah said okay. She climbed in the car, sat in the passenger seat, fastened her seatbelt. The man drove away from the curb, went 2 blocks, then 3, then turned onto the highway. Hannah's chest got tight. Asked where they were going. Said the bus stop should have been back Hannah there. Grabbed the door handle. The man did not answer. It was locked. Just tried the window button. Forward. It did not work. She told him to let her out right now. Her voice was strong. Tried not to let fear show. The man looked over at her. His face had changed. No longer calm, no longer kind. He told her to be quiet. Told her everything would be fine. Told her she just needed to trust him. Hannah's heart was pounding. She grabbed for her phone. Tried to dial 911. The man snatched it from her hand. Threw it out the window onto the highway, speeding past. Hannah started crying, asked what he wanted from her, said she had not done anything wrong. The man said she looked like someone he knew, Said she reminded him of someone he lost, said he. Just wanted to take care of her. Hannah begged him to stop the car, said her mother would come looking for her, said people would notice she was gone. The man said nobody would find her, said he had planned this carefully, said she would understand eventually. They drove for 40 minutes away from Columbus, through empty rural roads, into a small town called Stone Creek. The man turned into a driveway at the end of a gravel road. A small house stood there surrounded by thick trees, no neighbors in sight, no other buildings around. He parked the car, turned off the engine, looked at Hannah, told her this was her new home, told her she would be safe here, told her to come inside with him. Hannah did not move, told him she would not go inside. The man got out of the car, walked around to her side, opened the door, told her to get out now. Hannah refused to move. The man reached inside, grabbed her arm hard, pulled her out of the car. Hannah fought back, screamed as loud as she could, tried to run away, but Michael was much stronger. Dragged her toward the house, got her through the door, locked it behind them. Hannah stood frozen in the small living room, looked around frantically for any way out. Michael told her to take off her coat, said he would bring her some water, said she needed to calm down. Hannah's mind was spinning. Fast, she spotted a small desk near the window, saw a paper and a pen sitting there. While Michael was in the kitchen, Hannah grabbed a piece of paper, wrote as fast as her hand could move. "If someone finds this, I'm in. Stone, please." She heard Michael's footsteps coming back, shoved the paper into the hidden pocket her mother had sewn into the coat lining, the pocket only Hannah and Linda knew existed. Michael walked back in, told her again to take off the coat. His voice was harder this time. Hannah slowly took it off, handed it to him. Michael stared at it, looked at Hannah, then walked back. Outside, Hannah heard the door lock behind him, ran to the window fast, watched as Michael walked to a dumpster at the edge of the property, threw the coat inside, and with it the only message Hannah had been able to write. Our community of women who have been taken knows that exact moment, when you realize nobody is coming to save you, that you are completely alone, that staying alive depends on what you do next. Hannah stood at the window, staring at the dumpster, watched the coat vanish from sight, felt hope draining away, did not know that 10 years later that coat would surface again, that the message she had written in pure desperation would finally reach the person it was meant for. Did not know that her mother would never give up searching, would never stop hoping, would walk into a thrift store on a Saturday morning and discover the one thing that could bring Hannah home. All she knew in that moment was that she was stuck here, that Michael thought she was someone else entirely, that the door was locked and the windows were nailed shut and nobody knew where she was. But she had left a message hidden in fabric, written in just seconds, 8 words that would take 10 years to find their way home. If someone finds this, I'm in Stone, please. April 2003, the day after Hannah disappeared, Linda Brooks woke at 7 in the morning and called her daughter's apartment. No answer. She dialed Hannah's cell phone, went straight to voicemail. Linda told herself not to panic yet. Hannah was an adult after all. Maybe she had stayed at a friend's house. Maybe her phone battery had died. But Hannah always called back, always let Linda know where she was. By noon, Linda drove to Hannah's apartment, used the spare key Hannah had given her months ago, found the apartment completely empty. The bed was made, Hannah's work bag was gone. Everything looked totally normal, except that Hannah was not there. Linda called Columbus General Hospital. Asked if Hannah had shown up for her shift that morning. The supervisor said no. Said Hannah had not called in sick either. Said they had been trying to reach her all morning long. Linda called the police at 2 in the afternoon. The officer who wrote the report asked the standard questions. Was Hannah depressed lately? Had there been problems at home? Was she dating? Anyone who might have been controlling? Linda said no to everything. Hannah was happy, stable, had no reason to just disappear. The officer said they would investigate. Said most missing adults showed up within 48 hours. Said to call back if Hannah did not come home. Linda waited by the phone, called Hannah's friends, called the hospital again, called the bus company to see if anyone remembered seeing Hannah that morning. Nobody had seen anything at all. By the 3rd day, Detective James Walsh took over the case. He interviewed Linda and Richard, Hannah's father. Asked about Hannah's routine, her habits, her last known location, Linda told him Hannah left for work at 6 every morning, walked to the bus stop on West Broad Street, caught the 620 bus to the hospital. Walsh checked with the bus drivers. None of them remembered seeing Hannah that morning. Checked surveillance. Cameras near the bus stop found nothing helpful. Walsh checked Hannah's bank account. No activity since April 14th. Checked her phone records. Last call made at 9:30. At night, on April 14th, to Linda, no calls or texts on April 15th. Walsh told Linda and Richard that, without evidence of foul play, there was not much police could do. Hannah was an adult. She had the right to leave if she chose to. Linda said Hannah would never leave without telling her first. Walsh said he understood completely, but the evidence suggested Hannah had left on her own. The case was labeled as a voluntary missing person. Remained open, but not actively. Investigated. Linda refused to accept it. Printed thousands of flyers with Hannah's photos. Posted them all over Columbus. Drove to nearby towns. Posted them there too. Richard went back to work after 3 months. Said someone had to keep paying the bills. Said searching was not bringing Hannah back home. But Linda did not stop looking. Quit her job as a seamstress to search full-time. Spent her savings, spent everything she had looking for her daughter, and every Saturday she visited thrift stores. Looked through racks of clothes, searched for anything that might have belonged to Hannah. For 10 years straight, she found nothing. April 2003, the coat's journey begins. Hannah's navy blue coat sat in a dumpster behind Michael Turner's house in Stone Creek for 2 days. The fabric soaked up the smell of garbage. Rain fell on the 3rd day and drenched the wool completely. On the 4th day, a man named Earl Jennings drove past in his pickup truck. Earl made money collecting items from dumpsters and reselling them at flea markets. He saw the coat sticking out from under a pile of trash bags, pulled it out, shook. Off the dirt, the coat was good quality. Wool, silver buttons, worth keeping despite the smell. Earl tossed the coat in the back of his truck with 24 other items he had collected that week. Drove to a donation center in Newark, Ohio, dropped everything off in the donation bin outside. The coat sat in that bin for a week alongside old shoes, stained shirts, broken toys, and worn blankets. Then a volunteer named Patricia Cruz sorted through the donations. She separated items by type and condition. Put the coat in a box marked winter clothes, good condition. The box was loaded onto a truck with 50 other boxes, driven to a redistribution center in Akron, Ohio. The redistribution center received donations from 12 counties, sorted them, sent items to thrift stores across the state based on need and inventory levels. Hannah's coat was assigned to a Second Chance Market store in Canton, Ohio. Arrived in May 2003, was inspected, cleaned, priced at $15. Hung on a rack with 30 other coats near the back of the store. Weeks passed by. Customers walked past the coat, looked at it, felt the fabric, checked the price tag, put it back on the rack. Too expensive, wrong color, wrong size. In October 2003, the coat was marked down to $10. Still nobody bought it. In March 2004, the store manager pulled all unsold winter items, sent them to a clearance center in Toledo. The coat was repriced at $5, hung in a warehouse-sized store with thousands of other discounted items. A woman named Margaret Davis bought it in April 2004, paid $5, took it home, wore it twice, decided it did not fit right. The shoulders were too narrow, the length was too long. In November 2004, Margaret donated the coat to a church clothing drive. The church collected donations for disaster relief, sent boxes of clothes to organizations that handed them out to people in need. Hannah's coat was packed into a box with 20 other winter items, shipped to a disaster relief warehouse, sat there for 6 months, alongside emergency supplies and donated goods waiting to be sent out. In May 2005, the coat was shipped to a homeless shelter in Dayton, Ohio. The shelter gave out clothing to people staying there. Gave the coat to a woman named Teresa Lynn in December 2005. Teresa wore the coat for 2 winters straight. Kept her warm during cold nights. When she had nowhere else to sleep, she took care of it, kept it clean, mended a loose button. In March 2007, Teresa got a job, saved money, found an apartment. Her life got stable again. In June 2007, she decided to move to Florida, where her sister lived, packed her belongings, left the coat at a second chance market donation center in Dayton because Florida would be too warm for wool. The coat sat in storage for 3 years, was forgotten during a staff transition, rediscovered during a warehouse reorganization in 2010. A manager looked at the coat, checked the quality, decided it was still in good condition despite being 7 years old. Sent it to the second chance market in Dayton, priced it at $40 because vintage wool coats were popular again. The coat was hung on a rack with 200 other coats, waited there for 3 years. Hundreds of people walked past it, looked at it, moved on to other items. Until March 2013, when Linda Brooks walked through the aisles on a Saturday morning, saw a navy blue coat with silver buttons, recognized the tear in the left sleeve, recognized the coat she had made for her daughter 10 years. Earlier, April 2003 to March 2013, Hannah's 10 years, Hannah spent the first week in Michael Turner's house trying to escape. She tried every window, every door, every possible exit, found nothing that worked. The windows were nailed shut. The doors were locked from the outside. The house was surrounded by trees with no neighbors in sight. Michael brought her food 3 times a day, talked to her like she was Sarah, called her Sarah, told her stories about their past together, about the plans they had made before the accident. Hannah told him she was not Sarah, told him her name was Hannah, told him her mother was looking for her. Michael said she was confused, said the accident had messed with her memory, said she would remember eventually. Hannah realized Michael was not going to let her go, was not going to accept reality, had convinced himself that Hannah was his dead fiancée. She stopped fighting after the first month, stopped arguing back, started responding when Michael called. Her Sarah started nodding when he told stories. If you have ever been held captive by someone who lives in a delusion, you know that fighting the delusion only makes things worse. That survival sometimes means pretending to be someone else. Hannah learned to exist in 2 states: the person Michael wanted her to be, and the person she actually was. Michael gave her books, let her watch television, cooked meals for her, did not hurt her physically, but would not let her leave, would not let her contact anyone outside. After 6 months, Michael started leaving doors unlocked during the day, started trusting that Hannah would not run, started believing his own delusion, so completely that he thought she had accepted it too. Hannah considered running away, but the house was miles from town. She had no phone, no car, no money. Running meant wandering through rural Ohio with nowhere to go, so she waited instead, hoped someone would find her, hoped the note she had hidden in her coat would somehow reach her mother. Years passed slowly. Hannah's 26th birthday came around. Michael made a cake, sang happy birthday, gave her gifts. Hannah thanked him, played the role he needed her to play. Survived another year. Her 30th birthday arrived. Michael decorated the house, cooked her favorite meal, told her how happy he was that they were together. Hannah smiled, said thank you, went to bed that night, and cried quietly where Michael could not hear her 32nd birthday, 34th. The years blurred together. Days became weeks, became months, became years. Hannah marked time by the seasons, by the television shows that aired, by the books she read over and over, because Michael only bought new ones occasionally. She thought about her mother every day, wondered if Linda was still looking, wondered if anyone remembered her name. She thought about the note she had written, wondered where the coat had gone, if it had been thrown away. If it was sitting in a landfill somewhere, she held on to hope because it was all she had left. Hope that someday, somehow, someone would find her. Our community of survivors held in long-term captivity knows that time loses meaning, that days stretch into years without markers or milestones, that holding on to yourself becomes the hardest part. Hannah survived by remembering who she was, by repeating her real name in her mind every morning. Hannah Brooks, daughter of Linda and Richard Brooks from Columbus, Ohio. 25 years old, when she was taken, she remembered her mother's face, her father's laugh, her apartment, her job at the hospital, the route to the bus stop. She remembered everything she could, held on to those memories like anchors, refused to let Michael erase who she really was, and she waited. March 2013, the discovery. Detective James Walsh sat in his office and looked at the coat Linda Brooks had brought him. He had worked Hannah's case for 10 years. Had always suspected she had been taken, had never been able to prove it. Now he had proof sitting right in front of him. Walsh called in the forensics team. They photographed the coat, photographed the note, carefully removed it from the hidden pocket using tweezers. The note was tested. The paper was standard notebook paper. The ink was blue ballpoint pen. Common to match, but the handwriting matched samples of Hannah's writing. The note was real. Walsh studied the message carefully. "If someone finds this, I'm in stone, please." Stone. Not enough information. But it was something. The first real lead in 10 years. Walsh opened a map, searched for every location in Ohio that started with stone. Found 17 matches. He calculated drive times from Columbus, eliminated locations more than 2 hours away, narrowed it to 8 possibilities. Walsh contacted the Second Chance Market, asked where the coat had come from. They checked records, said it came from their warehouse. Said the warehouse received donations from 12 different locations. Walsh requested the list, started mapping the donation chain backwards. A forensic analyst examined the paper, checked the degradation patterns, told Walsh the note had been written approximately 10 years ago, had been kept in a sealed space, like a coat pocket for most of that time. The paper had a specific watermark, a brand manufactured between 2001 and 2005, sold by 3 retailers in Ohio. Walsh cross-referenced the retailers with its stone locations, found overlap near Stone Creek, Ohio. He made notes, started building a case, started planning the next steps, but he did not have enough yet. Not enough to get a warrant, not enough to search properties. He needed more. Walsh called Linda, told her they were making progress, told her to stay hopeful, told her he would call when he had more information. Linda asked how long it would take. Walsh said he did not know, said these things took time, said they had to be careful. Linda hung up, sat in her kitchen, looked at the photo of Hannah she kept on the refrigerator, the photo from Hannah's 24th birthday, the last birthday they had celebrated together. Linda whispered to the photo, told Hannah to hold on, told her they were coming, told her not to give up. And somewhere 30 miles away in a small house in Stone Creek, Hannah Brooks woke up to another day, another year, another moment of survival, not knowing that her mother had found the coat, that the note had been discovered, that after 10 years, someone was finally looking in the right place. March 2013. 3 days after Linda found the coat, Detective James Walsh sat in his office with a map of Ohio spread across his desk. Red circles marked every location that started with stone. 8 possibilities remained after eliminating places too far from Columbus. Stone Creek stood out. Population 1,230 miles northeast of Columbus, close enough for a morning drive, small enough that a stranger could live unnoticed for years. Walsh pulled property records for Stone Creek, found 63 residential properties, too many to search without a warrant. He needed to narrow it down. He filtered by demographics. Single male homeowners, ages 35 to 55. Residents since at least 2003, 4 names appeared. Walsh ran background checks on all 4, looked for anything unusual, anything that might indicate someone capable of kidnapping and holding a woman for 10 years. 3 had clean records, normal lives, jobs, families nearby. Nothing suspicious. The 4th was different. Michael James Turner, age 52, purchased property in Stone Creek in 1999, lived alone, worked as a freelance accountant from home, no criminal record. But in 1999, Michael had filed multiple police reports related to his fiance's death. Sarah Mitchell, aged 28, killed in a car accident August 1999. Walsh pulled the accident report, found a photo of Sarah, blonde hair, blue eyes, slender build. He pulled up Hannah Brooks's missing person photo, blonde hair, blue eyes, similar build. The resemblance was striking. Walsh called a forensic psychologist, described the situation, asked if it was possible someone could kidnap a stranger because they resembled a deceased loved one. The psychologist said yes, said it was rare but documented, called it replacement delusion, said grief combined with isolation could create a psychological break where reality became negotiable, where the person convinced themselves the new person was actually the lost loved one returned. Walsh asked how long someone could maintain that delusion. The psychologist said years, even decades. said the person would construct elaborate justifications, would reject any evidence that contradicted the delusion, would treat the captive as if they truly were the deceased person. Walsh thanked her, hung up, looked at Michael Turner's file again. He had enough for a warrant now. Enough to request a welfare check at minimum. Walsh called the Stone Creek Police Department, small force. 3 officers, chief named Tom Bradley. Walsh explained the situation. Said he had reason to believe a woman missing since 2003 might be at a property in Stone Creek. Asked for assistance. Bradley said they would help. Asked what Walsh needed. Walsh said he wanted to approach carefully. Said if Hannah was there, she had been held for 10 years. Said they could not risk the suspect. Panicking, they planned the operation for the following morning. March 2013, the morning of the rescue, Walsh arrived in Stone Creek at 6 in the morning, met Chief Bradley and 2 officers at the police station. They reviewed the plan, surround the property, call Michael out. If he refused, breach the door. Priority was finding Hannah alive. They drove to 4782 County Road 17 in 2 vehicles, parked at the end of the gravel driveway. The house was small, single-story, surrounded by trees, no neighbors visible. Walsh and Bradley approached the front door. The 2 officers moved to cover the back exit. Walsh knocked, called out that this was the Columbus Police Department. Asked Michael Turner to come outside. Silence. Walsh knocked again, louder this time, called Michael's name. A sound inside. Footsteps, then the door. Opened, Michael stood in the doorway. 50s, gray hair. Wearing a robe? Looked confused. Walsh identified himself. Said they were investigating a missing person case. Asked if they could come inside. Michael hesitated. Asked what this was about. Walsh said they had reason to believe Hannah Brooks might be at this address. Asked if Michael knew that name. Michael's expression changed. Something flickered behind his eyes. He started closing the door. Bradley shoved it open, told Michael to step aside. Michael backed into the house, said they could not come in without a warrant. Walsh pulled out the warrant, said they had one. Told Michael again to step aside. Michael did not move, just stood there blocking the hallway. Walsh pushed past him. Bradley followed close behind. The 2 officers came through the back door. Walsh called out loud, asked if anyone else was in the house. Asked if Hannah Brooks was there. No answer. Came back. Walsh moved down the hallway, checked the first door. Bedroom empty. Checked the second door. Checked the bathroom, empty. Checked the third door. It was locked. Walsh told Michael to open it. Michael said no. Said that was Sarah's room. Said Sarah did not like strangers. Walsh felt his pulse speed up. Told Michael to open the door now. Michael refused. Said Sarah was sleeping. Said she should not be disturbed. Bradley took a step forward. Told Michael they would break the door down if he did not open it. Michael looked between them, then slowly pulled a key from his robe pocket. Unlocked the door. Walsh pushed it open. A woman sat on a bed near the window. Thin, pale, blonde hair, longer than in her missing person photo. She looked up when the door opened, eyes wide. Walsh asked if she was Hannah Brooks. The woman did not answer, just stared at him. Walsh asked again, told her his name. Said he was with the Columbus police. Said her mother had been looking for her. The woman's eyes filled with tears. My mother, Walsh nodded. Told her Linda had found her coat, had found the note. Said that was how they found this address. The woman started crying. Said her name was Hannah Brooks. Said she had been here for 10 years. Said Michael had taken her. Said he would not let her leave. Walsh turned to Michael. Told him he was under arrest for kidnapping. Michael shook his head. Said there was a mistake. Said that was Sarah, his fiancée. Said she had been in an accident, but she was okay now. Said they were together. Bradley handcuffed Michael, read him his rights. Led him outside to the patrol car. Walsh stayed with Hannah, told her she was safe. Asked if she was hurt. Asked if she needed medical attention. Hannah said she was okay, just weak. Asked if her mother was really looking for her. Asked if Linda was alive. Walsh said yes. Said Linda had never stopped searching. Said she was waiting to see Hannah. Hannah covered her face with her hands. Cried for several minutes. Walsh sat down in a chair near the door. Gave her time. When Hannah looked up, she asked how long it had been. Walsh told her 10 years, April 2003 to March 2013. Hannah nodded, said she had tried to keep track but lost count after the first few years. Said she knew it had been a long time. Walsh called for an ambulance. Said they needed to take Hannah to the hospital, get her checked, make sure she was healthy. Hannah asked if she could call her mother first. Walsh pulled out his phone, dialed Linda's number, handed the phone to Hannah. Linda answered on the first ring. Hannah's voice broke. "Mom, it's me." Linda started crying, asked if Hannah was okay, asked where she was. Hannah said she was in Stone Creek, said the police had found her, said she was safe. Linda asked if she could come, asked where to meet her. Walsh took the phone back, told Linda they were taking Hannah to Stone Creek Medical Center, gave her the address, said she could meet them there. Linda said she was leaving now, said she would be there in 30 minutes. The ambulance arrived. Paramedics checked Hannah's vitals. Blood pressure low, heart rate elevated but stable, dehydrated, malnourished but alive. They loaded Hannah onto a stretcher. Walsh rode with her to the hospital. Hannah was quiet during the ride, looked out the window at the trees passing by, at the sky, at the world she had not seen in 10 years, except through nailed-shut windows. Walsh asked if she wanted to talk about what happened, said she did not have to if she was not ready. Hannah said Michael had pretended to help her, said he told her the bus route had changed, said she got in his car and he drove her here, said he locked her in the house, said he called her Sarah, said he believed she was his dead fiancée. Walsh asked if Michael had hurt her. Hannah said no, said he never hit her, never touched her inappropriately, just kept her locked up, kept her isolated, kept telling her she was someone else. She said the worst part was not the captivity, was not the locked doors or the years alone. The worst part was feeling herself disappear, was fighting to remember who she really was when someone spent every day telling her she was someone else. If you have ever had your identity denied for so long that you start to doubt it yourself, you know the particular cruelty of that kind. Of captivity, they arrived at the hospital. Hannah was taken to a private room. Doctors examined her, ran tests, confirmed she was physically healthy despite being underweight. Linda arrived 20 minutes later, ran through the hospital hallways, found Hannah's room, stopped in the doorway. Hannah was sitting up in bed, turned when she heard footsteps. Mom Linda crossed the room, wrapped her arms around her daughter, held her like she would never let go. "I found you. Oh God, I found you. I never stopped looking. Never." Hannah held her mother tight, cried in two. Linda's shoulder. "I knew you would. I wrote that note hoping you would find it, hoping someone would." Linda pulled back, looked at Hannah's face. Older now, 35 instead of 25, but still her daughter. The coat. "I found the coat. I went to that thrift store like I do every Saturday, and there it was. Your coat with the hidden pocket I sewed." Hannah smiled through tears. "I remembered the pocket when he took me to that house. I found paper and wrote as fast as I could. I put it in the pocket, hoping it would survive, hoping you would find it someday." Linda said she had never given up, had gone to thrift stores every Saturday for 10 years, had checked every coat, every item, had refused to believe Hannah was gone. Hannah said she had thought about Linda every day, had held on to the memory of home, had survived by remembering who she really was. Richard arrived an hour later, walked into the room, stopped when he saw Hannah, started crying, crossed the room, hugged his daughter for the first time in 10 years. The three of them sat together in that hospital room, talked, cried, held each other. Walsh stood outside in the hallway, gave them privacy, called the prosecutor, said they had found Hannah Brooks alive, said Michael Turner was in custody, said they had a solid case. Michael Turner was charged with kidnapping, false imprisonment, and a dozen related counts. During interrogation, he remained calm, insisted Hannah was Sarah, insisted she had been in an accident and forgotten who she was, insisted he had been taking care of her. The prosecutor said Michael would likely be found incompetent to stand trial, would be committed to a psychiatric. The facility would spend the rest of his life in custody regardless. Hannah stayed in the hospital for 3 days, regained strength, talked to psychologists, started the long process of recovery. She told them the hardest part would not be adjusting to freedom, would be rebuilding an identity that had been denied for 10 years, would be figuring out who. Hannah Brooks was at 35 when she had been frozen at 25. The psychologists said it would take time, said recovery was not linear, said some days would be harder than others, but said Hannah had already proven she was a survivor, had held on to herself through 10 years of captivity, would find her way back. Linda and Richard took Hannah home to Columbus, set up the guest room for her, gave her space, but stayed close. Hannah spent the first week just existing, walked through the house, looked at old photos, relearned how to be in the world, went outside without asking permission, opened doors without checking if they were locked, ate meals at the table with her parents. Small things, normal things, things she had not done in 10 years. Wanted to thank the people who had searched for her, wanted to encourage families of other missing persons not to give up. She stood at a podium with Linda and Richard beside her, spoke in a voice that was steady despite everything, said she was Hannah Brooks, had been missing for 10 years, had been held captive by someone who refused to see her as herself, who had tried to make her into someone else. Said she survived by holding on to her identity, by remembering her name, her family, her life before. Said her mother had never given up, had searched every Saturday for 10 years, had found a coat in a thrift store, had found a note hidden in a pocket, had brought her home. Said if there was someone else out there, someone being held, someone whose family was searching, do not give up hope, do not stop looking, because she had written a note 10 years ago, had hidden it in a coat pocket, had hoped someone would find it, and 10 years later, her mother had. 6 months after her rescue, Michael Turner's case went to court. A psychiatric evaluation determined he was not competent to stand trial. The judge ordered him committed to a state psychiatric hospital for an indefinite period. Michael would remain there under strict supervision, receiving treatment for his delusional disorder. He would never be released. The court also ruled that Michael would be prohibited from any contact with Hannah or her family. For Hannah, the ruling brought a measure of closure. Michael would not hurt anyone else, would not have the chance to create another delusion. Another victim. 1 year after coming home, Hannah enrolled in college, started taking psychology courses, wanted to understand what had happened to her, wanted to help others who had experienced similar trauma. She started slowly, one class at a time. Some days were harder than others. Some days she had to leave campus early because being around crowds triggered anxiety, but she kept going, kept pushing forward. Linda and Richard supported her through every step, celebrated every small victory, every completed assignment. Every day, Hannah chose to keep building her life. Hannah also started volunteering at a nonprofit that supported families of missing persons, answered phones, talked to parents who were searching, told them her story, told them not to give up, told them that sometimes against impossible odds, people do come home. She became a symbol of hope for families across the country, proof that searching matters, that 10 years is not too long, that love and persistence can overcome even the most desperate circumstances. If this story reminds you that some missing persons do come home, that mothers who search every Saturday sometimes find what they are looking for, that 10 years is not too long to hope. Remember this. Michael Turner stole 10 years of Hannah Brooks's life, kept her locked in a house because she reminded him of someone he had lost, denied her identity, denied her freedom, denied her existence as anyone except the person he wanted her to be. But Hannah survived, held on to herself, wrote a note that traveled through 10 years and 7 hands before finding its way back to the person who needed to see it most. Someone is still missing right now. Someone is still searching. Do not stop looking. Do not stop hoping. Because Hannah Brooks came home after 10 years, and her story belongs to every mother who refuses to give up and to every person who holds on to their identity when the world tries to erase it.